Hello, my name is Michelle Phelps, and this is my presentation. Working. The unemployment rate for formerly incarcerated women of color was about 43%. Rates for formerly incarcerated white women are about 23%. And women of color and white women have a harder time with getting jobs over men. So I will be going over men have it easier than women. Women of color are treated differently than white women. Society does not give enough resources to help women who have been released from jail. Now that I've talked a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about today, let's dive in and speak on the differences between men and women who are incarcerated. According to Sex Differences in Crime, in 2014, more than 73% of those arrested in the US were males. Men accounted for 80.4% of persons arrested for violent crimes and 62.9% of those arrested for property crimes. As you can see with the chart to your right, it is the imprisonment rate by demographic characteristics of 2020. And as you can see, the blue is male or just female. There's a lot more males that are imprisoned. And even with the statistics, women still have a harder time finding a job over men. My works cited is at the bottom. So now that I've talked a little bit about the differences between men and women who are released looking for jobs, let's talk about how women of color and white women are different in trying to find jobs. Nationally, about 1 in 8 of all individuals released from state prisons and more than 1.6 jail releases are women. And the color and white gap in unemployment exists across all demographic groups, but having a criminal record exacerbates this difference, increasing the color and white unemployment ratio from about 1.5 for never incarcerated women and 1.8 for never incarcerated men to about 1.9 for both male and females. As you can see at the bottom, this is a little bit older chart from 2008, but you can see the difference from formerly incarcerated and the general population of people that are unemployed. And men, yes, is high, but it still does not go over the white and the color women columns. Now that I've talked about the differences between women of color and white women, lastly, I would like to talk about how society treats previously incarcerated women. In 2016, about 81,000 women were released from state prisons and nationwide, and women and girls accounted for at least 1.8 million releases from local jails in just 2013. The last year, all jails were surveyed. While many people are released from jail within a day or so and may not need re-entry support, jail releases can't be overlooked, especially for women who are more likely than men to be incarcerated in jails, as opposed to prisons. Moreover, jails typically provide fewer programs and services than prisons. So individuals released from jails are even less likely to have received necessary treatment or services while incarcerated than those in prison. Most women that are in prison are mothers, and they have nothing once they get out. There's no resources, there's nothing to help them get their children back. They have to basically fend for themselves. I did show this chart that is the map of the United States in each state that roughly how many women are released each year. Now, in conclusion, Men should not have special treatment just because they're men. Women rarely do horrible crimes like men do. Yes, there are times where women have done very, very terrible things, but most of the time it's men. And my ideas that I went through today were men have it easier than women. Women of color are treated differently than white women, and society does not give enough resources to help women who have been released from jail. I really hope that this information has helped each of you realize what exactly women who have been to prison have to go through. This is my Works Cited page. Thank you.